Here I'm making LAB, or lactic acid bacteria. I'm using jasmine rice just because that's what we have on hand. You can use whatever you got, really. About 2 cups in there of the rice, 3 cups of water. You don't have to be super specific with that. We're just trying to get a nice rice wash water out of this. So I whisk it for a couple minutes. You can use your hand. Just be sure that your hand is super clean. Also be sure that the bowl, the jars, everything that you're using has all the soap rinsed off of it after you clean it. So I'm just pouring the rice wash water into these jars. I like a wider mouth just for a little more surface area. Then I cover it with a single layer paper towel and a rubber band to hold it in place. It will then sit out for 3 to 5 days. I smell it every day, checking for a sweet fermented smell change that will take place. I then use it immediately. There is a slight film that will develop on the top a lot of the time. Shouldn't be anything funky, definitely no mold, and it should just smell good and slightly sweet. I then fill up my jar or jars with milk. It can be 2%, 1%, whole milk. It doesn't really matter. It's just going to dictate how much curd you end up with, really. Fill the jars up 2/3 full with milk, and then I go 1 part rice wash water to 10 parts milk. You can kind of eyeball that. You don't need to be super exact. Just shoot for 1 part rice wash water to 10 parts milk. I'm careful to not pour in that rice powder that kind of ends up in the bottom of the fermentation jar. I swirl in the rice wash water into the milk. This isn't necessary, but I see why not. Just kind of work it through there so things get kicked off a little faster. Top your jar with a single layer paper towel again. 3 to 5 days later, it'll look like this. You won't always get a perfect separation on the top of the curd. A lot of the time you will, but sometimes you'll see like this. There's still some down on the side, a little on the bottom. It's okay. I'm just always very careful that I get all of the curd out of the serum in this next step, the filtering. So pull some of those larger chunks out. Put them in a bowl over there. This is what can turn into cheese. If you want to turn it into like a cheese dip, you could press all the moisture out and work on like a block of cheese. Or you could just give it to one of your animals. If you have animals, chickens love it, dogs love it. So that's the serum sitting right there. My next step is to actually pour it through a microfiber cloth. You can use an old clean t-shirt or any type of cloth material that has very fine holes. So it's serum with a little bit of like tiny curd particulate. So I take this step to just make sure that it's super clean and filtered out. That'll lead to better storage. Kind of swirl it a bit to work it through the fabric, and then I'm left with super clean LAB serum. No real need for this last filter. I just have it there just because. So it's being poured into the jar that it will be kept in the fridge. I like to store it just like this, and if it gets shipped out or if I want to keep it at room temp, that's when I'll add 1:1 brown sugar. That's what you see here. That takes a while to stir in, but it'll end up looking like that. And here's a cheese dip I made from the curd with some salt and herbs. Super tasty and healthy for the gut. Don't let the curd go to waste. Give it a try, or at least give it to your animal friends. They'll eat it up. Much love.